Are you fired up? Are you ready to go? Thank you, Michelle Obama, for being my partner, my love, my rock, and an amazing First Lady. Eight years ago, I asked all of you to join me on an unlikely journey. We set out not just to change programs or policies, but to rebuild an economy where everyone had a chance to succeed. You did it! To reform Washington so that your voices would be more powerful than entrenched lobbyists. We set out to keep America safe and strong, not just with the might of our arms and the extraordinary valor of our troops, but with the power of our ideals. To shape a changing America so that everybody belongs and everybody has a part, everybody has a responsibility. Now, we didn't know when we began that America would fall into the worst economic crisis of our lifetimes. But in the face of great challenges, in the face of entrenched interests, in the face of, in some cases, unprecedented obstruction and a cynical Washington, we stayed with it. The American people stayed with it. And because of your resilience, because of your strength, because of your faith, we turned yes we can into yes we did. Look at the road we've traveled. We've seen America turn recession into recovery. Our businesses create 15.5 million new jobs, putting more people back to work than all the other advanced economies combined. A resurgent auto industry has led the fastest manufacturing growth since another Clinton was president. Incomes are rising. Poverty is falling. 20 million more Americans have health insurance. We've doubled production of renewable energy, become the world leader in fighting climate change. Marriage equality is finally a reality from coast to coast. We brought home more of our men and women in uniform. Took out Osama bin Laden. And almost every country on earth sees America as stronger and more respected today than they did 8 years ago. In fact, because Bill Clinton is here, I did some math, a little arithmetic. Under the last two Republican presidents, job growth was basically flat. Deficits went up. Over our two Democratic presidencies, jobs went up by more than 30 million. Deficits went down. Millions more Americans gained health insurance, so yes, with Democrats in charge, America is stronger. Those are just the facts. And with just one more day to go, we now have the chance to elect a 45th president who will build on our progress, who will finish the job, who already has the respect of leaders around the world and the people they serve, who is smart and who is steady and who is tested. Yes, she is. Someone who comes to this office as well prepared as anyone who has ever run. More than me, more than Bill, the next president of the United States, Hillary Clinton. Now, I know it's been a long campaign. There's been a lot of noise and a lot of distraction. At times, it's felt more like a reality show or even a parody. But tomorrow, Philadelphia, the choice you face when you step into that voting booth could not be clearer and could not be more serious. On the economy, Donald Trump is uniquely unqualified to be our chief executive. That's why most CEOs and economists don't support him. He would trigger a reckless trade war that costs jobs, strip 20 million Americans of their health insurance, roll back the new rules designed to check Wall Street recklessness and protect consumers, and would roll back the regulations we put in place to preserve this planet for our kids. On foreign policy, Donald Trump is temperamentally unfit to be commander-in-chief. Don't take my word for it. Listen to the Republicans who've refused to support him. He lacks a basic understanding of the world, justifies torture, suggests abandoning our allies. Over the weekend, his campaign took away his Twitter account because he's erratic. If his closest advisors don't trust him to tweet, why would any of us trust him with the nuclear codes? More than his policies or his plans, though. Throughout his campaign, Donald Trump has shown utter contempt for the values that make this nation great. Anyone who sees women as objects, minorities and immigrants as inferior, other faiths as presumptively un-American, cannot lead this diverse, dynamic, big-hearted country that we love. And so all of this should give you reason enough to vote tomorrow. But you don't just have to vote against someone. You have somebody extraordinary to vote for. Philadelphia, you've got someone outstanding to vote for in Hillary Clinton. I'll be honest. I have had to bite my tongue after a lot of the nonsense I've heard people say about Hillary in this election. I can only imagine what Bill and Chelsea have been going through. The vicious, crazy attacks. The double standards applied to her. They're like nothing we've ever seen before. And what makes it worse is that most of the people saying this stuff, they don't really believe it. They know better. Don't forget, when Hillary was a senator, when she was my Secretary of State, she was really popular. People saw how effective she was, how she crossed party lines to get things done. Before she announced her candidacy for president, Republican leaders described her, and I'm quoting now, as very impressive, someone who does a magnificent job, one of the most effective secretaries of state. Well, they were right then. I agreed with Republicans then. Hillary did a great job for America. She's a big reason why we're more respected around the world. But then, when it was politically expedient, those same Republicans began tearing her down. And look, when you're subjected to unrelenting negative fire, it takes a toll. But here's the thing about Hillary. She doesn't complain. She doesn't buckle. She brushes it off. Like the American people, she is strong and tough. And she knows that government service is not about her. It's about you. Your struggles, your dreams. Throughout her career, Hillary has followed that Methodist creed her mom taught her. Do all the good you can for all the people you can, in all the ways you can, for as long as you can. And she doesn't plan on stopping now. And that's now, I know she will work her heart out for you. For everybody still in need of a good job or a raise. For every child who needs a sturdier ladder out of poverty. For every student who needs relief from student debt. Every immigrant who wants to contribute to this country they love. For every American who has not yet felt the progress of these past 8 years. She will work, and she will deliver. She won't just tweet. But she will need your help, and she'll need help in Washington. If you want Hillary to continue the progress we've made, you need to give her allies in the Senate like Katie McGinty. You cannot, there she is right there, you cannot just stick Hillary with Republicans in Congress who are already promising even more unprecedented dysfunction in Washington. That would be hard to do, but they're promising it. More shutdowns, more obstruction, years of hearings and investigations. You know, gridlock is not mysterious. It's not something that happens because both sides are being equally unreasonable. It has been a stated Republican strategy since I took office. And the only way to break it is to make those who engage in it pay a price by electing more Democrats tomorrow. Look at Katie McGinty's opponent, Pat Toomey. Don't boo. Vote. I've given him credit for working with us on background checks that 90% of Americans supported. But you know, that position rings hollow when he supports a Republican leader who blocked that bill. And it doesn't come close to making up for his repeated votes to give tax cuts to the wealthy, just like Donald Trump would. To block a higher minimum wage, just like Donald Trump would. To repeal the Affordable Care Act, just like Donald Trump would. We do not need a Trump-to-me economy. We need someone who's never forgotten her working class roots, the daughter of a restaurant hostess and a Philadelphia beat cop, somebody who went to college with the help of scholarships and student loans. Katie McGinty won't just be with you part of the way, she'll be with you all of the way, and that's why you've got to vote for her. Katie. Pennsylvania, if you think endless gridlock will help your family, you should vote Republican. But if you believe America can do better than that, if you care about creating jobs that families can live on and child care they can afford, if you care about equal pay for women and a higher minimum wage for workers, you need to vote for Democrats up and down the ticket. People like Hillary, people like Katie McGinty, people who will roll up their sleeves and move America forward. Listen, I know we live in a cynical time. And I know elections and all the negative ads tend to heighten that cynicism. Just last week, a journalist asked me if I still believe the optimism I expressed that night back in Boston 12 years ago. That we were more than a collection of red and blue states. That there wasn't a liberal America or a conservative America, a black America or a white America. There was just the United States of America. He asked me if I still held on to the hope of 2008, if I still believed in change. After all, he said, the country's so divided. Hillary's in such a close race with someone who stands in total opposition for all that you've ever stood for. Maybe your vision was misguided, he suggested, or at least very naive. And it was a fair question. I had to acknowledge that I hadn't fully counted on the obstruction we'd see when I first came into office and had to save the economy. I didn't anticipate the way social media would magnify our divisions and muddy up facts. None of us knew then how deep the Great Recession would cut and how many people would suffer and how it would make so many people anxious about their futures and their kids' futures, even after the economy recovered. But despite all that, I told him, the answer is yes. I still believe in hope. I'm still as optimistic as ever about our future, and that's because of you, the American people. In my visits to schools and factories, war theaters, national parks, in the letters you've written me, in the tears you've shed over a lost loved one, I have seen again and again your goodness and your strength and your heart. In 2008, you gave me a chance. A skinny guy